All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a tool you've probably heard a million times, but might not fully get: the roadmap. We're going to demystify what it actually is, and more importantly, show you how it can completely change the game for how your teams work together. So let's kick things off with a question that, might hit a little close to home. Are your teams really all moving in the same direction? It's such a common struggle. Companies don't usually fail because they run out of good ideas. They fail because all those great ideas get pulled in a million different directions by teams that just aren't on the same page. I mean, does this sound familiar? You see it happening constantly. Design is over here, meticulously planning this amazing user experience. At the exact same time, engineering is deep in the code, but they're building a slightly different version of it. And marketing? Oh, they're already whipping up a campaign for a product that, well, doesn't quite match what's actually being built. It's just a recipe for chaos, missed deadlines, and a whole lot of frustration. And this, right here, is exactly where roadmaps come in. Think of it as the bridge that finally connects all these well-meaning teams and gets everyone walking down a single shared path. This is what we call the direction dilemma. See, when your teams don't have that shared vision, every single decision becomes reactive. You end up spending all your time just fighting fires instead of actually building for the future. And that chaos, that's the exact problem a great roadmap is built to solve. Okay, so what is a roadmap really? At its absolute core, a roadmap is a high-level plan. It's not about the tiny details. It's there to communicate two and only two really critical things: where a product is heading, and maybe even more importantly, why. And that why, that's everything. It's the magic ingredient that connects what people are doing day to day to the bigger purpose. Here's a great way to think about it. A roadmap, that's your treasure map. It shows you the island you're trying to get to and points out the big landmarks along the way. A project plan, on the other hand, is the turn-by-turn GPS navigation telling you, turn left in 50 feet. See the difference? The roadmap is all about direction and outcomes. The project plan is pure execution, tasks, deadlines, the nitty-gritty. And just to make sure we're super clear, let's talk about what a roadmap is not. This is important. It's not a project plan packed with tasks. It is definitely not a rigid feature checklist that locks you in forever. And for the love of all that is holy, it is not something you create in January and then just stick in a folder to be forgotten. It's got to be a living, breathing guide. All right, so we've got a handle on the definition. Now let's get into the purpose. Like, why even bother making one of these things in the first place? So, a good roadmap actually does a few really crucial things for you. First, it's that central source of truth that gets the entire organization aligned. It's also a super powerful communication tool, right? It connects the day-to-day grind with those big picture goals. And maybe one of its most important jobs is that it becomes a filter. It helps you prioritize what truly matters and gives you the confidence to say no to the stuff that doesn't. Okay, so we've covered the what's and the why. Now let's get a bit more practical. Let's look at how a roadmap actually works, what it's made of, and who it's really for. When you boil it down, a great roadmap really only has three simple building blocks. You start with the outcomes, and I mean, what are you actually trying to achieve here? We're not talking about what features you're going to ship, but what results are you aiming for? Then you group all the related work into big picture themes, and finally, you set these broad time horizons to show the general sequence and priority of things. And that last point, time horizons, brings us to a really crucial concept. It's how roadmaps deal with time. See, instead of putting down these rigid dates, which almost always end up being false promises, really effective roadmaps use these horizons: now, next, and later. Now is what the team is actively building, like right now. Next is the stuff you've got planned and feel pretty confident about. And later, that's for the big ideas, the stuff you're still exploring. It's a brilliant way to communicate priority while still giving you the flexibility to change. So who's actually looking at this thing? The short answer is everyone. Seriously, product managers use it to get all their stakeholders on the same page. Engineering uses it to understand the technical direction they need to head in. Marketing looks at it to plan their launches, and of course, leadership uses it to get that high-level view and make sure everyone's pulling in the same strategic direction. It becomes this common language for the whole company. Okay, last section. Let's talk about how this all can go terribly wrong. Because honestly, knowing the common pitfalls is just as important as knowing the theory. This is all about turning your plan into a promise you can actually keep. All right, mistake number one. And this is the big one. Treating the roadmap like it's a promise carved in stone. The second you do that, you've killed any ability to adapt. And guess what? The market is going to change, you are going to get new customer feedback, and that rigid plan is going to break. And when it does, trust breaks right along with it. Okay, the next big no-no is turning your roadmap into just a giant feature checklist. When you cram it full of dozens and dozens of tiny little items, it stops being a strategic guide. It just becomes noise. You completely lose sight of the bigger themes and what the real priorities are. And finally, this is the absolute kiss of death for any roadmap. Creating it and then forgetting it exists. A roadmap that doesn't get revisited and updated on a regular basis is actually worse than having no roadmap at all. It becomes misleading, and it actively starts to cause misalignment. It has to be a living, breathing document. So, to wrap this all up, what makes a good roadmap? It's focused on outcomes, not just a list of things to do. It's flexible by its very design. It's clear and easy for anyone to understand. And it's obviously tied to the big business goals. But maybe, just maybe, its most important quality is that it's honest. It openly admits that you don't have all the answers yet, and that's totally okay. So I'll leave you with this one last thing to think about. Take a look at your own team's plan, the one for the next quarter or the next year. Is it a true roadmap? Does it give you strategic direction and a sense of purpose? Or is it just a really long list of features? Because honestly, the difference between those two things is everything.